Hello, my name is Sayeef. I go by Malice in the editing world, and in this video we're going to be talking about how to edit in the niche that you want. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is I've been editing for 3 years and I've worked in almost every niche you could think of. There's IRO, in real life videos, where I worked with the Sidemen who have 20 million subscribers, worked in Reacts with Jessa, who's a 20 million subscriber channel, also worked with the Beast Reacts channel, so Mr. Beast's channel with 30 million subscribers, worked in gaming, Cypher PK, 10 million subscribers, worked in crypto, worked in finance, worked in all of these different niches. And the topic of this video is going to be how I did that. And I know this works because I helped other video editors, including Garfield, was thinking whether I should say his name, but we'll say his name, Garfield, who works in documentary. He was struggling around 6 to 12 months ago. He was struggling to get into documentary. He was working in finance, wanted to move over, didn't know how to do it because, didn't have any work in there yet. Now he's worked with Internet Anarchist, who's got over 1 million subscribers, and some other pretty large documentary channels. So this works, and it works with any niche that you are currently in, or if you don't have videos, to whatever you want to get into. So how we're going to break this down is, first we're going to start talking about who you actually want to get into. So what niche do you actually want and which is the best for you? And then we're going to be talking about how to actually get into it. So let's get started. When you're deciding which niche you get into, it's a common thought process of what makes the most money, which is the easiest, which makes the most money in the fastest way possible. And when I was growing in the editing space, I remember I was about a year in, and the niche that you could say I was in was actually Fortnite montages, where it was a video game called Fortnite, and I'd sync up clips to videos. My income peaked at around $400 a month, and I remember everyone telling me, both family and friends, and also other editors in the space, that if I wanted to make money, I would have to get into traditional media. And I tried it. I looked for jobs. I never got it. And then when I searched on YouTube how to make more money as an editor, it would be people saying you should do wedding videos and music videos and all of these different niches, these different skills outside of YouTube editing that I was already doing. I tried all of them and I still couldn't make money. Here's the thing. I realized this after years, but every single niche or industry makes good money. I got past 10K a month just working in YouTube content, and there are many other editors who do the exact same. People think that YouTube editing doesn't make money, and sure, that might have been true 10 years ago when YouTube was just starting off as a baby platform, but it's gotten to the point now where it's literally a multi-billion-dollar industry. And for you to take a couple thousand out of that, it's not too difficult. Every single niche has money because every single niche, if you take the top creators in any niche, they all have money to spend. Whether it be in gaming, whether it be in finance, whether it be in documentary, whether it be in kids channels, whether it be in drama videos, like whatever it is, any niche, it's the top players that are going to be giving you the money you want. Because here's the thing, I could tell you a perfect niche. Let's say finance, because a lot of people think finance is a really well-paying niche or documentary. But the small creators in there are still going to pay you like crap. So it's never about the actual niche. It's more about the creators that you're working with. So you need to take a second and genuinely ask yourself, what sort of videos would you like to edit? Me personally, I never actually discriminated. I was never someone who niched down in the traditional sense that people told me to, of going to gaming, going to finance. If you check my portfolio right now, you'll see the people I work with and you'll see the videos I have on there. It ranges from gaming to art to IRL to, I don't even know what else is there. There's just random to like medicine to Reacts, and then there's no specific niche, yet I still get huge clients in all of them. The reason being, I've now optimized for people who simply have the largest followings. I'm actually playing a numbers game rather than a actual like niche or YouTube genre. Because the thing is, if you are an editor who has, let's say, a gaming style, a traditionally gaming style, you could actually work with a finance creator who wants his videos done in a gaming style. It's less about the YouTube niche and more about the editing style and the level of audience maturity and editing ability that you have, which will attract that type of client. So if you ask yourself, who do you actually want to work for? Cool. Note that down. You want to think a lot more in depth than just the type of content that person posts. This is what we call a dream client avatar. A dream client avatar is essentially, let's say you're trying to open a store in a mall. There's two types of stores, and there's one which is a generic fruit store where they sell apples, bananas, oranges, clementines, all these different fruits. And the other store sells apples. And they pride themselves in how good their apples are. They know that most people might not be looking for apples. But if there are a subsection of the market, a subsection of the world who are looking for apples, and they have the money to spend, that they will go to them because they have specified they are specialists for apples. Yes, they can't serve banana people, they can't serve orange people, whatever. But when it comes to apples, they can charge a lot and they get the biggest buyers of apples. You need to start by asking yourself, what fruit are you actually selling? So you want to learn about your dream client avatar in depth to the point where you know more about him than he knows about himself. For example, for me, I want someone who's a long form creator who posts on YouTube, who has at least 10 million subscribers. He uses a face cam. His hobbies include playing FIFA and just generally playing football with his friends and eating out with his friends. These are the traits that I have for my dream client avatar. And what this serves as now, instead of asking yourself, which video should I put on my portfolio to attract a certain person? What should I post onto my Twitter, my X? What type of style should I pick up? What should I take on this client or that client? How should I outreach? All of these questions get put into a new frame, which is what would appeal to my dream client avatar. This becomes your Polaris star, your North Star, where every decision you make is now in the lens of what would my dream client avatar like? Because here's the thing. There's something called a fractal. Things can be fractal in nature. This is just how the universe works, where if something exists in the micro, it usually exists in a macro. Let's give an example. In your school, let's say if you're going to school, just imagine in your friend group, in your local area. If you asked people generally what sort of food that they like, some people would say sweet things, savory, they like seafood, they like steaks, whatever the split of that preference is, you will find that within that micro community, if you looked nationally, there would be similar trends where a certain percentage of people like seafood, a certain percentage are vegan, a certain percentage are vegetarian, a certain percentage really like meat. It's like there's things that happen in the micro tend to also happen in the macro. That's called a fractal. So if you can identify what a client likes and what their desires and what would appeal to them on an individual level, and everything you do just appeals to that, you'll end up attracting a lot more people just like that. Because the truth is, humans, we're not exactly unique, where we love to think that, well, I'll speak for myself. I love to think that I'm some unique guy, but there's probably a chance that there's also a teenager who's like my age, and then he also likes editing and got into it as a hobby, who also wanted to make money from it, and also like watching YouTube, and also isn't that materialistic, and also likes working out and enjoys his health. Like, it's likely that there's other people in the world who have these same traits as me. Maybe you're even one of them. So I could think that I'm some special guy by having these hobbies, but the truth is, there's other people like that. And the same way, this dream client avatar, if you've built this out and know the traits, so long form or short form, what type of content does he post? What hobbies does he have? How large is the channel? What traits does he look for in an editor? Things like this. You can assume that if you appeal to those, you'll appeal to a good amount of people as well. I'd highly recommend taking a moment, even if you have to get off this video or at least pause it, to actually ask yourself, what do you want in a client? Because the thing is, there's two types of editors. There's the editors who are constantly chasing after any client that they can get. And then there's the type of editor who knows what he wants and he gets them. But here's the funny thing. The editors that are chasing after clients and going for anyone, they look at the people who are going after a certain client and they ask themselves, wait, but you're letting go of everyone else. Wait, how can you only specialize in long form? But what if someone wants short form and you have to say no to money? It's like they have this idea that saying no to money is a bad thing. But the funny thing is, if you can say to small money in other places, you'll tend to have people coming to you with big money. So it's less about what you say yes to and more about what you say no to. Know exactly what form of content. Do you want long form or short form? What type of content do they post? How old is their audience? Are they tend to be under 12, 12 to 16, 16 to 21, 21 to 30, 30 plus? Like, what audience do they have? When you have all of these things, we move on to stage 2. We're not actually going to specifically only work with this dream client avatar. More specifically, we're going to take steps towards them. Now, when I teach this concept of a dream client avatar, like a Polaris star, a North Star that you can follow, a lot of people look at opportunities and they ask, is this in my niche or not? Is this my dream client avatar? And if it is, they'll reach out to them. If it's not, they won't. The problem is, if you don't have work at all, or if you basically aren't working with enough to the point where you're actually near capacity, you're actually harming yourself by not taking anyone on. So it's almost like, I use a target analogy. Imagine like, when you play darts or you're doing archery, where you've got a target, where you've got a bullseye and then slightly outside of that you have a ring, slightly outside of that, and you just got all these layers. Right at the center, that bullseye is your dream client avatar. It's the person with all the traits, the size, the payment, the traits, everything you want. And outside of that, it's not that it's not your dream client avatar. It's just someone who's pretty close to it, almost perfectly. Maybe your dream client avatar is in the finance niche. They have highly edited videos. They have a full face cam and it's talking head, and they have mysterious music in the background, whatever. Maybe instead of talking head, so just like these videos here, instead of talking head, they have a desktop recording and a face cam in the corner. Is it perfectly your dream client avatar? No. Is it close? Yes. Maybe you can't get someone in that circle, then you go slightly out. Maybe it's not finance. Maybe it's a slightly related. Maybe it's a financy style, but in the documentary niche. Do you see how we're getting slightly and slightly less like it the further we go out? And maybe you want the long form guy, but maybe all the other traits match up except the fact that it's long form. Then cool. Out here, you've got short form. So it's not about, is this person that I'm looking at, is this lead, is this person I want to outreach to, is this person that's coming to me for work in my niche or not? It's less about that. It's more about how close is this person to what I actually want, to my Polaris star, to my dream client. And your entire career is essentially just the process of getting anywhere on the target and then taking steps towards the middle. I would rather you work with someone who's completely out of your niche, completely out of the style you want, not even like anyone. Maybe like they're just horrible, they barely pay you everything. You would actually make more progress by working with them than saying no to everyone until you try getting your dream client avatar. Because here's the raw truth, and I'm going to say this, you can get offended if you want, but you probably aren't good enough yet to have your dream client. You probably can't do the style exactly how they would want it. You probably aren't as good at communication as you should be. You probably have kind of mid-deadline management and productivity. Maybe your storytelling and music isn't as good as they'd like it. You probably don't deserve the client that's paying you $500, $1,000, $2,000 a video. And that's okay. But the thing is, the way you get to that point is by working outside and going in and in and in. Now, I know this has been very abstract, so I appreciate you following this up to this point, but let's put this into more practical terms. Let's say your dream client is you have a very specific name. Dream client doesn't need to be an actual person. It could be fictional. But let's say you have a very specific creator that you want to work with. If you just reach out to that creator at the stage you're at now, you might not get a response. You could try it, and I'd always recommend you try it. You miss every shot you don't take. But likelihood is they're probably not going to work with you from that. Now you have two options after you get ghosted. You either follow up like a needy prick, or you continue your journey as if it never happened, and then hope one day that they come reach back out to you. You either obsess over that one client and say, if I don't get this person, my life is over. Or you become so good that they can't ignore you. And I'm saying this because this happened with a lot of my largest clients. I'm not going to name names because it's out of respect for them, but you'll know who they are. Where I reached out to them, this channel with, I'm going to give ranges, 1 to 40 million subscribers, we'll say. I reach out to them and then they ghost me. I just continue with my career. I work with other people. In fact, I even work with competitors of theirs, channels in the same niche, the same style as them. Months later, there was one that was 3 months later, there was one that was 7 months later, and there was one that even an entire year later. They reach out to me and ask if I'm open to work with them. What started as me outreaching, getting ghosted, has now become them coming to me and me having all the leverage, meaning me having all the power in the conversation. How much more power do you think I had in that conversation in terms of how much I charge, deadlines I want, the creative control I have when they came to me? So you want to basically decide who your dream client avatar is, go for it, shoot for them. But other than that, it's just spend the rest of your career moving towards them. So I wasn't able to get into the IRL niche where it's multiple cameras, IRL challenge videos. I couldn't do it. So I did gaming because that's all I could get. Then from gaming, I moved into gaming with Facecam. Then from gaming with Facecam, I got into reacts because reaction videos are sort of camera here, reaction footage, awesome. And it sort of tends towards that challenges because you've got, try not to laugh reacts videos. So we're getting towards challenges with Facecam. Now going from there to IRL, so real life videos where it's full scene, people running around, shooting camera stuff. It's a lot easier to go from, this person's already doing challenges with cameras on the screen to challenges with cameras on the screen, just a slightly different format. You see how we've gotten a lot closer compared to me editing Fortnite videos. But you start with what you can get. So that's the process I use. It's the process I teach other editors to use. It helped. Basically, any editor that wants to get into a certain niche, this is the process I give him. So hope that helps. Safe.